Analysis here. Let's bring in On Balance host Leland Vittert. Leland, of course, Fetterman's health really the main focus from last night's debate. Again, he just had the stroke 5 months ago. Was it a mistake for him to participate, or was this more of a sign of his resilience?
Well, first of all, you have to have not only enormous respect for someone who has had that stroke, has this condition, and is willing to go out onto the debate stage and debate. He also had, they would say it in the Arabic world, two choices, both of which were bitter for him, his family, and his political consultants. If he does debate, you risk having what happened last night. If you don't debate, then you basically concede by default, right, that you're unable and not physically and mentally fit enough to debate, and it's something that'll be used against you in every attack ad for the next 2 weeks. So either way, he didn't really have a good choice. And Kelly made a great point. You really don't know whether it was a good decision or not. You can argue it both ways. It'll be the voters who decide. The Oz campaign, at least those pointing to in the past couple of hours since the debate, we're now debate plus 20 hours, they've raised $2 million. So there certainly was a good response in that sense.
Let's shift to Dr. Oz now. There's one moment in particular from last night generating a lot of buzz. Let's listen to that.
There should not be involvement from the federal government in how states decide their abortion decisions. As a physician, I've been in the room when there's some difficult conversations happening. I don't want the federal government involved with that at all. I want women, doctors, local political leaders, letting the democracy that's always allowed our nation to thrive to put the best ideas forward.
All right, so do you think Oz did enough there to close the gap between himself and Fetterman when it comes to that?
Well, the comment about local politicians that he said, right, the decision about abortion should be between a woman, her doctor, and local politicians that he added in there. That's being played on repeat by the Fetterman campaign. Literally, they have an ad out in which local politicians is repeated over and over and over again. President Biden just talked about that very same thing. He said, wait, does it just extend to women, or is it now that Mehmet Oz wants local politicians to decide about your cancer treatments and colonoscopies? Close the gap? Who knows? It's certainly something that probably he wish he had back. And it plays into the Democrats' hands, who believe there is a swing vote in Pennsylvania on the issue of abortion. If you listen to their closing arguments, it's centered around abortion and, in their words, threats to democracy. And so certainly that comment by Mehmet Oz allows them to continue that argument.
All right, so Leland, we just got the numbers. There were a lot of eyeballs on last night's debate, but many polls really show that at this point there are very few undecided voters. That means the debate will likely not sway opinions one way or another. But do you think last night's debate fit that description? You
got to be careful when you look at the pollings and say, oh well, there's not a lot of undecideds. If you look at that there's 8 points, maybe more, actually 13 points worth of undecided voters in that breakdown. So you've got that. You also have people who can change their minds. The question really to ask yourself as a viewer or as a pundit or anybody else is to say, okay, there are people who we know no matter what are going to vote for Mehmet Oz because he's a Republican. There's people who are going to vote for John Fetterman no matter what because he's a Democrat. Of the people in the middle who were leaning one way or the other, is there anything in that debate last night that John Fetterman did that would all of a sudden have people go, oh, wow, I must vote for John Fetterman? Not only must I vote, but I must actually turn out and vote. And that seems to be a very small group if you go through and sort of parse what happened last night.
All right, Leland, before we let you go, tell us what you are working on for the show tonight.
Breaking down the debate. Also, Bob Casey on why he thinks John Fetterman is fit and can be an effective senator. Some interesting admissions there. And then Bob Woodward, the famed Washington Post journalist, and the Trump tapes. Woodward will be here. We're going to talk about a lot of things, including why establishment Washington hates Donald Trump, thinks he must be gone and vanquished. But as evidenced by continued bestseller books, people just cannot quit either writing about Donald Trump or talking about him.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.